Hi. If you hang out with anthropologists, you will discover pretty quickly that there aren't a lot of things they all agree on. If you bring up almost any subject associated with human culture, history, politics, evolution, anything else, you can almost guarantee that they're going to start bickering about it. So when you encounter something that they all agree on, it's worth remembering. And one thing that I think all of them will agree on is that to understand human culture, you have to start out by looking at human cultures with an S. You have to look at them one at a time, to look at the total context in which one group of people lives their lives and experiences the world in order to get any sense of the general patterns that characterize human beings. It's sort of like language, which we're going to talk about a little later in the semester. You can talk all you like about human language as a phenomenon, but the truth is that nobody speaks language. People speak individual languages, each of which is distinctive and each of which has to be looked at on its own terms. Likewise, nobody lives in culture. People live in a culture, a particular time and place that's different from any other. And there's no way that we can understand what it is to be human if we don't spend at least some time looking at those individual cultural worlds. Now, in this course, I want to give you a chance to look at a couple of those. One of them is what we might call traditional culture, a small-scale group that you can easily identify and point to on a map. This particular one is a foraging culture called by a number of names, the most common of which are the Khoisan San and the Juntwazi. They live in the Kalahari Desert of southern Africa, and they were intensively studied by anthropologists during the last couple of decades in which they lived as full-time foragers. The other culture is a very different one, the culture of what we might call modernity, the one in which you and I live. We'll be focusing on that toward the end of the course. Now, to learn about the Khoisan, and by the way, I should be saying Khoisan every time, but it's a little hard for me. I don't speak the language. And so I'm going to say Khoisan, but you can take the little click as given. To learn about them, we're going to be reading a book by Marjorie Shostak called Nisa, The Life and Words of a Khong Woman. It's based on a long series of interviews that Shostak did among this group, and it allows as much as possible for you to hear about the Khong in their own words. It's a great book, and I think you're really going to like it. I will say, however, that's a little dense, and it can be a little difficult to situate yourself in terms of who the Khong are, where they live, and the larger world that they live in. So today I'd like to tell you a little bit about their history and culture. The idea isn't to tell you everything, that's what the book's for, but to give you enough background so that you won't be too confused when you start in on the material. So that's what we're going to do today.